I thought I would just kind of give you a sneak peek into the live video that I just did in my Facebook group. This is a group that's for singers, beginning, advanced. Primarily it's beginners and people that really want to grow their voice and get better at singing and enjoy the music so much. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek into a live warm-up that I did today. I do live warm-ups several days a week in this group. We also do challenges, we have prizes, we do warm-up Wednesdays and singing Saturdays and all sorts of fun stuff. So this is a copy or a view of the live that I did today talking about fundamentals of voice with an ah vowel, as well as certain things that you have to make sure as a beginner you don't miss out on. So enjoy this video. If you want more of this, then please join my Facebook group. The link is down below and hopefully I will see you in there. La la la! Hello everyone! All right, just getting this thing all set up. How are we doing? Okay, I'm just waiting. I never know when this thing goes live, so I just kind of talk to myself. Yay! I think we're live now. I want to welcome everybody. We had so many, just in the past 4 days, I've added 56 new people to this group, so I want to welcome you guys. As a welcoming video to many of you new, we're going to start today's warm-ups. I'm actually going to work on some fundamentals. So basic things that should be the foundation to all of your singing, regardless of what level you're at. Always tapping back into fundamentals is super important, even as you get advanced. So like even when I'm working on my voice, I always make sure, am I doing this? Am I doing that? There's certain fundamentals. So today, what I want to work on as far as the fundamentals, we're going to work on vowel placement of ah, which is one of my favorite, most open vowels, as well as we're going to work on breath support a little bit, as well as body posture and throat, open throat. And these are things that are really important to tap into as you're singing and go, am I opening my throat? Is my vowel placed correctly? Where am I breathing and how is my body? So let's start off with a little bit of, and of course I'm also going to link these up to a warm-up that we'll do. So let's start off with throat and how to breathe and where to breathe and that kind of thing. And I don't get into a ton of detail in this group simply because I'm limited in time that I give you guys, but I give you a little taste here and there. So when you're breathing in, I want you to make sure that the jaw is unhinged, the tongue is down and flat, and we create space. You never want to breathe in through your nose. Simply because when you do that, it closes up the space to the back of the throat. So breathing in through the nose, the tongue comes up and you have all sorts of closure. So we want to make sure that the mouth is all the way open and there's big space. And I want you to breathe as if it's coming in the back of your throat and it's hitting back here. So one way to do that is to think of like you're surprised. So you have a like, oh, what is that? But you make sure that you open your mouth all the way unhinged this way, not this way, that way, down and forward, almost as if it's unhinging this direction, like if these were arrows, it would be this direction, unhinge that way, and then take in breath like, oh, what was that? And as you do that, I want your eyebrows to lift, your nose to flare, your cheekbones to pop. And what we're doing with that, hi Angela, is we are opening up the throat, we're opening up the space in the mouth, and we're also opening up the space in what are called your nasal turbinators, or as I call, crazy face. So making sure that the space that's up here is also open. And the difference and the reason why we focus so much on space is simply it's the difference between singing in a closet full of clothes versus singing in a shower. When you're singing in a shower, it's beautiful, it echoes, it has all this space and you sound amazing, and then you sing the same exact note in a closet full of clothes, that closet full of clothes is going to muffle the sound. So if your throat is not all the way open, your mouth isn't all the way open, your tongue isn't down, your nasal pharynx isn't open, then you're singing in a closet full of clothes because it's it's absorbing your beautiful little sound that your vocal cords make, and it has to go through all that. So we really want to open it up. Hi, Katie! Yay, you finally got me. I know, right? I'm sporadic in my warm-ups, okay? Work with me here. Okay, so what we're going to do is I want you to unhinge your jaw, and if you're in front of a mirror somewhere that you can see your own face, please, please, please look in a mirror. And I want you to unhinge the jaw as if it's coming this way, downward, like that. Tongue is down and flat and lightly resting on the bottom front teeth down here. And then as you breathe in, we're going to do that crazy face or the surprising breath. So unhinge and then breathe. And I do this hand movement a lot because I'm literally thinking of the air popping up and then moving forward because I'm going to hitch my first note right at the end of that breath. And that's going to make a difference between if I'm going, and then I'm delaying. That delay causes tension. So instead, by hitching on the tail end of that breath, I'm doing, and it's going right onto it. Open up the space, then heading all the way forward. You are singing in a closet full of clothes because your mouth is closed. Hee hee. I get it. That was random. It's late here. Yeah, it's about noon in the middle of the day on Tuesday over here in Thailand. So we have our big open space. Jaw is unhinged. Tongue is down and flat against your bottom teeth. Crazy face lift. Breathe and then envision the note heading directly forward from there. I really, again, want you to focus on open, then breathe, and as you breathe, you hitch onto the very end of that breath. Separate the open and the breath. This may seem super easy, but with my new students, man, this is hard to get. When you open up your mouth, don't take in that air yet. Open, create the space, then take in the air, and that's when you immediately sing. So let's do, I have a new piano. I'm actually returning it today because it does this weird crackling sound, and I just can't stand it, but you guys are just going to have to deal with it for now. Okay, so we have open, and all I'm thinking the entire time is open, 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 open. Open, space, crazy face, tongue down, jaw unhinged, and then thinking of that note, open, 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 open. And as you do this, start to kind of check in. Does your tongue come up? Do problems get in the way? Hi, Alejandro. So let's do that again. Open, then air, and breathe right on that air as if it's a wave. Don't hold on to it. So open. And if you are a guy, you can go down here. Which is the last note in my range. Someone asked my range the other day, and this morning I checked it, and I'm about a C3 to about here for decently solid, which is a G6. So I'm a C3 to a G6. That's my range. I don't know what that is. 1, 2, 3.5. 1, 2, 3.5. 3.5 is pretty solid for me. Okay, that feels weird, Katie says. Yeah, all right. It does in the beginning. Open, air, forward. Here we go. Open. Keep that space as we do it. Let's do another one. Open. And feel around as you're going through it. Is the tongue getting in the way? What's going on? This is Basic Fundamentals 101. It's really kind of boring, but this is how you learn. Really, truly. This is really how it happens. Okay, open. Good. Let's do it again. Separate open with the note. Separate open. Air comes in and then you sing right on it. How's your face? Is it staying crazy and popped? Is your jaw staying unhinged? Let's do one more of this. Ah. So I want you to start to kind of check in. How does this feel? How does your jaw feel? I know this isn't like a normal warm-up. We're not like and all over the place, but truthfully in the beginning, the best way for you to learn is to keep your notes super simple and become aware of what's going on inside. And I don't think enough teachers teach this. I think they're worried it's boring, and so they want to fancy it up. But realistically, this is how you're going to learn your instrument, because I can't take it out and put it in front of you and show you how to do it. You have to feel it and connect with it, and this is how we do that. Now, let's do one with an actual 5-tone scale, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, mouth is open, surprising breath, and then immediately singing on it, picking a spot across the room and thinking, open, 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 the entire time. Here we go, open. Open. So I can feel on some of them, I feel almost like my tongue wants to pull back a little bit, which if over exaggerated would sound like hear how it kind of closed up there? You don't want that to happen. We want it nice and open the whole time. So here we go. Unhinge, surprising breath, then sing. I'll play the guy's version as well. Open. Let's do 3 more. Open. Now for girls, this is about where you're going to transition and break somewhere with an you may feel that shift in there, and all I want you to do with that shift is I want you to think of our first note as happy and excited, keeping it on that platform as you sing, rather than do 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 do, which is going to transfer the weight. I don't want the weight to transfer up. I want you to think of all of the notes heading forward. So think of that first note and approach the first note as if it's the high note, okay? So I'm going to use my hands on this, guys. You're here. Okay, so we have open, lift. Again, first note is the high note, which means it's lifted here, not pushed, but like excited, so to speak. Open. See, I haven't warmed up yet, and you can hear that little shift in there, but that's okay. Do it again. Open. Right there with you. Open. Now, is the most open vowel that we have, but it also makes it the most raw vowel. So you're going to get every weakness. It's going to come out with this puppy. Let's do another one. Unhinge, open. So I definitely felt my throat close on that top one. Instead of kind of pulled back. So that tells me that as I do my next scale, I want to really over-exaggerate. Think of this super duper popping open in here and leaning a little bit forward. Open. And that made that open right up. That's what I want. Let's do 2 more. Open. And I'm keeping my pretty raw. I'm not rounding it. I'm going a little more contemporary. If you want to go a little more classical, you can round your sound, such as a I am doing a which is a little bit more of a contemporary sound. And it's just one is a little bit more forward and one is more round. Sorry, you guys, I didn't see any of these. For some reason, it wasn't showing me all these messages as they come up. I'm curious, what's your type of voice? If I were to put a label on my voice, I am a soprano 1. However, like I said before, I can sing all the way down to the C3, and then my highest solidly is that G6. I don't set myself in it, meaning as like I'm not like, oh, I'm soprano 1, so I only sing soprano 1. I especially when it comes to jazz, I really like alto notes because they go against the grain and it's really fun, and I really like those, so I do sing those. It feels weird. Yeah, my tongue tends to go back in on the high one. See? I didn't even see that. Exactly. So if your tongue is pulling back, I want you to, instead of pulling it back, don't try to shove it forward because that's just going to tighten the tongue muscle. Instead of that, I want you to think of this popping open more. And you can even use your hands. And think of it prying it open and really, really getting that lift here. And if you can get that to open with your jaw unhinged, that's going to help that tongue from pulling back. We don't want to shove the tongue forward. That's only going to activate the tongue even more. Mine too. Gotta go. I'll catch this more. Bye, Katie. Okay, so let's keep going. Now that I see there's messages. Is it okay to start using head voice right now? Alejandro, if you're a dude, you are a dude. So you have male vocals. Yeah, totally fine. Do whatever you need to do. You would if you're right here even, you're heading towards your switch in your voice. And you can do that in a falsetto. You can do that in more of a pingier head voice. It's up to you what you want to do. I'm not particularly tapping into that today. We're just focusing on opening up that space, unhinging, and allowing that space as you're going through as a fundamental. We're not talking about transitions or anything like that yet. Okay, let's go into here. Yeah, I liked it there. There's our note, ladies. There's our note, guys, which will probably feel like this. Okay, so open jaw, unhinged, tongue is down, crazy face. As we hit a high note and you feel that tongue pull back, you're going to just do this here with your hands, all right? Okay, so here we go. Open. Thinking of it popping on baritone tenor, by the way. All right, that sounds good. You would definitely be in your high voice through here, I'll tell you that one for sure. Okay, open up. One more. I'll do guys too. And then on that one, truthfully, that was my own fault. I opened up and I took an air at the same time. And remember, as beginners, we want to separate the two. Open, then take in the air separate. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is your ah vowel. Now, your ah vowel, the correct placement is going to be jaw unhinged and down. So we have this unhinged downward, ah. The tongue is relaxed against the front bottom teeth. And there's a slight divot in the tongue. Now, you can't quite control this on your own unless you're like super tongue fancy, but what you can do is you can focus on all these other aspects that I'm talking about, and in time, as your tongue relaxes, it is going to create a little divot, which will look like, see how it divots? That little divot is what I want. And if you notice, I'll open my mouth for the position, and the divot doesn't happen until I take in that breath to pop open. Oh, sorry, let me, okay. See that little, it just a small movement. And we get that simply because we're lifting up in here. Now, one of the ways that we can tap into that nasal resonator is you take your finger and you're going to slide it in your mouth, and you're going to feel hard palate. And then as you get back a little bit further, right about here, you're going to feel it go soft, and your finger's going to kind of sink up in there. Now that's your soft palate. Now your soft palate you can actually control and decide what position it's in, deciding whether or not you're going to open up so that way the sound can come out of the throat and also come up out of your nose, because you do have notes that come out of your nose. It's crazy, but that's what makes a great tone. So you have that space in here. So what I want you to do is I want you to slide your finger, and then once you get to that soft part, I want you to very, very, very gently just put your finger there. Just feel it. Don't push on it. Just like as if you were touching your cheek and you feel the peach fuzz of your hair. It's the same idea on the inside. Just barely touch it. And then I want you to open your mouth, unhinge that jaw like we were doing, and taking that surprising breath to lift. So it's going to look like this. And as you take in that breath, you're going to feel that soft palate go, and it's going to lift up. And that means we've activated it. If you don't feel that, it's because one of two reasons. One, you're putting your finger too hard on it, and you need to just barely touch it because it's not a huge movement. Or two, you're not taking in that surprising breath and the jaw is not unhinged. So again, you're going to place your finger in, you're going to go to where it's soft, then you're going to open your mouth and unhinge that jaw, and then you're going to take in breath like you're surprised. And as you felt it pop up, that means that you've activated these nasal resonators. That's the position that we want for an ah, because your ah is going to resonate right about mid-cheek, right in here. So I want you to unhinge, tongue is down, surprising breath, which was what we just did with activating that, and get used to that movement. I highly suggest putting your finger up in there and trying to just lift it and relax it, and lift it and relax it, and lift it and relax it. Get used to that muscle, because that muscle is going to kick butt when you go to sing. So you can have it lift, like, hey, I need more nasal tone. I need more resonance in my nasal pharynx. Okay, well, I know how to train that muscle. I know mine's open because I've done this so much. I've trained that muscle and I've gotten it to where I can feel it lift and release, and lift and release, and lift and release. So now I don't need my finger in there. I know that it's open. I can feel that little change, and I've gotten control of that muscle. And this is, again, what I keep talking about. They're not the most fun of drills, but that's going to train the muscle so you can pop open this nasal pharynx. So you know for a fact that it's open instead of, I think it's open, I don't really know. You got that muscle down. So now that we have that, we know that our ah is the tongue is down and flat, the jaw is unhinged, and we've got that surprising crazy face, which is that muscle here. Feeling that. That's what we're going to focus on one more time as we go through just a 5-tone scale. Now, once we finish this 5-tone scale, I have a massive list. If you go up into topics of all different live warm-ups that I've done, you can pick any of them and focus on exactly this. I know, Alejandro, Azael, yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't know why so many teachers don't really get into this, because you have to pick apart the voice and just really hammer in on certain muscles and certain aspects. And this is one of them that's just, it's really going to make a huge difference. Okay, so let's go back to here. Actually, you know what, you guys, since I have two guys on here, I'm going to lower this a little bit. This may be a little bit low for you girls in the beginning. But hey, let's work on your low range. For guys, this is going to feel pretty comfortable. Okay, so what we just did, open your mouth, unhinge, take in that surprising breath, and then sing right on the tail end of it. Don't delay. I only want a separation between open, then air. That air, once the air comes in, we're going to go right into that ah, thinking crazy lift, lift, open, 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 jaw unhinge, lift, lift, jaw unhinge, lift, lift. So that's where we get that open. All right, here we go. Open. Ah. Open. Ah. And as you have trouble on your high notes, guys, remember, you flare open, you create space to hit that high note. You do not push to hit high notes. Let's do another one. Open. Open. Oh, where am I at? Oh, there we go. I'm going to say open to keep your mind on it, but I want you to sing okay? Open. Open, 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 open. Okay, open again. Open, 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 open. Okay, you guys are singing I'm saying open. All right, now let's do another one. I'm going to show you hand movements that I like to do with these, so I'm just going to sing it, but just so you have an idea of what hand movements I really enjoy doing with these. So I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to start here because I'm thinking of things unhinged and popped open. Then I'm going to head it forward, and as I hit that high note, I'm going to reopen and then send it again. So that's how I like to do my hand movements. So we have open, that's the hand movements I like to do because I really like to think of open, forward. When I hit that high note, which I'm not thinking of as high, I'm readapting it open, and then I'm sending it almost like from the core, continuing it forward. I'll do one more with my hands. Open. Really, really hyper focusing on those small, basic fundamentals. I really want you guys to then go into the different drills, apply this in, also apply it into songs. Songs that have the sound and you're holding, let's say, onto a big note. I want you to go back to that song, go to that certain spot, remove the word, just focus on that vowel and see how it feels. Are you putting more tension? Are you keeping it open? What happens as you're singing that note? Because a lot of times you can do really well on your scales, and then when you go to sing a song that has that vowel, all these old bad habits come creeping back in. And so strip it down to the beginning. Like how far, that would be an vowel. So if we're doing how far, maybe you're doing how far, and it's got this tension, and the mouth isn't all the way open, and there's nothing going on in here. So I would take away the and the fa, and it would just be, instead of how far, it would be how And we're going to think of that pop here with the jaw unhinged. So it would be how and I'm literally doing everything that I just did in that scale, but focusing on it. Then we add in the fa, short on the fa. Oh, my dog wants out. You're just going to have to wait. I want out. And then we're just going to add the fa. So we have how far. There's a little Hear the little right at the very, very end. So that's how I would suggest for you to piece this out into your songs as well. All right, let me know what you liked about this warm-up. Let me know any questions that you have. I was working on some Dear Evan Hansen songs, and since the tenor are keeping a really nasal front sound, this is really helpful exercise for me. Oh, good. Yeah, so piece that thing apart as well. I smell something burning. Okay, I gotta go. Bye, guys! This is so hard to do with my hand. Okay, if you guys liked that video, then be sure to go on ahead and click here for my link to all cheat sheets and freebies and vocal hacks and all this cool downloadable stuff to help you sing. Click here to check out all my other tutorials and singing tips and stuff like that. And then most of all, come hang out with me in my Facebook group. The link is down below, and I will see you in the next video. La la la!